So then, about 26, I had moved back down here. I left my wife. She was going through very severe postpartum depression. I took my kids down here, um, and I mean, it's a mess. There's just so much to happen. But basically, like 6 months later, my daughter moved back in with her. Um, it was like a year and a half or so later, or whatever it was. My son moved back in with her. I lost. Oh, that's when I lost everything. Um, and uh, shit was had went to my aunt and uncle to get $1,200. So all that happened. I lost my son that day after I left there with the 600. Um, and slowly I got a job and put myself back on my feet. Slowly got a girlfriend. Um, but I had so many concussions and then fighting, and then next thing I know, I was getting married again. I kind of that's just crazy. Like, and what I've noticed is why I'm bringing this up is because so this is my second marriage. Um, at the time I was running around with a lot of people, and because I was working as a server, and I mean I had major concussion. I had a major, I mean, just to give you like what I'm calling a major concussion. We had got drunk. We were out on the ice in a parking lot heading to a bar that was in somebody's house in the basement, and I slipped on the ice, fell, blacked out. Next thing I know, we were stumbling into the house. We got down to the basement, got in a fight down there, got knocked out down there. I mean, a big fight, and got knocked out down there, woke back up, got knocked out again. So that's what I mean, like concussions. And then next thing I know, I'm getting married to my second wife, having another kid. That was my last child. So all this is happening at the same time. My kid's born. Just got married. Um, I was only married for like a year and a half. We were together for three, I think, total years, and then maybe something like that. Um, but during that time, my daughter, my other wife, my first wife, had kept my daughter from me. See, now my son had moved back in with me. He only lived with my wife for like 7 months, 8 months, something like that. She couldn't handle it. He came back and lived with me. Um, and come to find out, his mom was abusing him, physically. So yeah, man, just crazy. And then she kept my daughter from me for a year and a half during this time. I'm still talking to my mom. Um, Come to find out, I mean, this was bad. Like I was trying to get my daughter. I flipped out on a judge in court. I had the cops called on me many times. Trying to get my daughter, trying to see my daughter. And when I finally got into court and got this scene, and finally a year and a half later, um, that judge looked at that fucking bitch and said, "You keep that girl away from her father again, and you're going straight to jail." She said, "I'll see to it. If he comes back here and complains and says that you even skipped one time of letting him see his daughter, I'm gonna send you straight to jail." So I never had a problem with my daughter after that. But yeah, so for a year and a half, but come to find out, check this out. In that year and a half, like a year into that, or maybe longer, no, I think it was afterwards. I think it was like 6 months afterwards. I was up with my brother, my siblings at my mom's, I think, for like a Thanksgiving. I can't even remember. Um, and this is like, and I had all the kids, I think. And anyways, it came up. And my mom was like sympathizing. Come to find out, she had been going behind my back, talking to my ex-wife, just more manipulation, more games my mom played, more shit my mom did. Yeah, bad, man, bad. kept my daughter, was working with my ex-wife to keep my daughter from me, calling me crazy. God knows. That's what I'm saying. She's doing the same thing now. I know she is. I know for a fact she is. She hasn't changed. Because if she had, there wouldn't be a whole cult following of hers that are praying to Jesus for me right now. You know what I mean? That's fucking weird, guys. You gotta fucking realize who that woman is or what she did. You know what I mean? And I ended up divorcing that wife, and that was a fucking mess. You know, I've had more run-ins with the cops than you can ever shake a stick at, man. And I've always come out, on the good side of it for the most part. But yeah, that's just unreal. That really. When I found that out, I couldn't believe that she did that. Like, I fought tooth and nail for my daughter for a year and a half, and finally got my day in court, and got my shit solved, which it shouldn't have even taken that. You know what I mean? I showed up at their house. I threatened them. It was crazy, guys. I did everything I could. I threw my ex-wife across the lawn of my second ex's father's house lawn. It was crazy. And then to find out that my mom was backing her the whole time and going behind my back. You know what I mean? That's just another example. Just another example of Richard needing to learn his lesson, and I'm going to pray to Jesus for his soul. Weird, man. She's running a cult, and you guys are her followers. You believe in all that bullshit. So anyways, me and my second wife ended up splitting, and I ended up losing what ended up happening. I can't even remember. Yeah, there's just so much, guys. But I was getting in fights. I was having more head trauma. I ended up picking up minimalism, and then I got I was getting ready to start my business, doing what I do now. And this was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever, right when I had my real bad TBI. It put my dick in the dirt. I had already focused on minimalism, but then, yeah, man, just a bunch of head trauma. Oh, and then, man, guys, I'm talking about so much head trauma. And then, of course, the emotional trauma, the psychological trauma, the like betrayal trauma, again of my mom doing that again, and again just constantly, and that whole time, again, anytime I would talk to her, it was always an issue, always something, always drama. But so yeah, and then I had that TBI. I fell off the roof, and slowly just lost it over the course of 8 months. I just lost everything, and my brother and my sister had to come down and get me, and moved me up there. Yeah, so actually they were moving me up to my mom's house, because see, my mom had a big old house. Like I said, she married a dude that had some money, and they had a nice sized home, bunch of rooms, empty nest, and I was supposed to move up there with them. And as soon as they got there, I was fucked up. I was really fucked up. Like, I was shaking. I couldn't. Prior to that happening, I had gone from working like a maniac to just barely being able to pull it together and operate daily. I was I've been operating. I haven't had a credit card. I haven't had credit cards since shit. Since I moved back to Front Row, maybe within a year. So, I haven't had a credit card in 18 years, probably 17, 18 years. I've been all cash since then. Um, so, uh, so prior to me moving, prior to that situation even happening, you know, um, I realized I was losing it. Like I was literally losing it. I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was having heart attacks, but they were panic attacks. Um, it was bad, and all that's documented. But it was really bad, and it got to the point where I was just losing my mind. Like I couldn't. I was losing track of time. I was dropping money out of my wallet. I was leaving shit places. I was losing things. I was leaving my car and drive and getting out of it. You know what I mean? I was lost it. I was fried. My system was fried. I didn't know. I didn't know what was going on with me. I thought I was losing my mind. But I didn't know. I thought I was having heart attacks. And so, yeah, I had called my mom up and they said, yeah, come stay up here. Of course, they had a whole rule and rigmarole that they drove me through on the phone before I came up there. Well, anyways, my brother and my sister came and moved me, put all my shit in storage, moved me. And I was minimalist anyways, but I had a ton of tools because, like I said, I was getting ready to start my own business prior to all this shit happening. And they get me up to my mom's, and my mom just was treating me like a total garbage. And um, I was like, and I was sensitive, and I didn't realize then, but I knew the feeling was bad, but I didn't realize that I could feel like she hated me, like they did not want me there. My mom, he's just a little soy boy, you know what I mean? But so my mom rolled the roost, and whatever she wanted, he wanted. So she did not want me there. I could feel she hated my guts. So, come to find out, anyways, so minute, I said, look, you guys got to get me out of here. My sister ended up moving me in with her. They were young. They were like 19 at the time. I don't even think they were 21. I think they were like 19, her and her husband. And I moved in with them for a couple months on base. I was living on post, running around naked, just in my shorts like a crazy man. And like it was back in the 1990s, and it was totally not. And so anyways, I ended up a couple months later moving in with my brother, and I lived up there for a year or whatever. And man, I went through the whole fucking rigmarole of the VA. They almost killed me, put me on all kinds of fucking meds. And man, yeah, so I've been through the ringer, dude. Been through the ringer, bud. That might be a good place to stop. I mean, God knows how much I missed in between there and how much transpired. And, but yeah, I ended up with my brother. And, yeah, I should probably stop there. That's 13 minutes.